Do you want to bond more with your children? Do you want to have more time to spend, like have connections with your children? Today, I'm going to be sharing 10 tips, yet simple but very useful tips that can help you to bond with your children. So, before we go right into this video, kindly subscribe to the channel, join the family of other moms, and learn other tips and uploads that we have. And now we're going right into the video. So our number one tip here says have one-on-one time with your children. So sometimes you might really get busy with work, get busy with activities, but you can have a few times or minutes or seconds that you can use to have a time out with your children. It could be like you could have a sitting time where you discuss, ask them how school was, how their day was, how their activities were. These are also good times that you can have a one-on-one conversation with your children. So if you have more than one or two children, you can have time each for them and then have a discussion with them at your spare time. Our number two tip here says create a daily routine. So you can have like a regular routine that you have with them, like on a daily basis, every day, where you can discuss with them. You can have a chat with them. It could be something that you are used to doing. It could be like a greeting. It could be like a regular question you ask them, like, how was school today? Did you make new friends? What are their names? Like I usually do that with my daughter. And I will always ask her, did you make new friends? What are their names? Sometimes she'll tell me she remembered to ask their names. Sometimes she didn't remember. Then I'll tell her, okay, when you go back tomorrow, how can you have a friend and you don't know his or her name? So you go back to school tomorrow, you find out the name of your friend. So probably there's a new learner in class. You could bond with such people by asking them their name. So sometimes we have those conversations like on a regular basis for them to have this communication with their classmates as well as having friends. So for our number two tips was saying that you should have these rituals on a daily basis that they begin to get used to it, like every day. When you don't do it, they know that you have not done it for today. So sometimes they'll be the ones to remind you on these things that you need to do with them because it's becoming a ritual that they're used to. So our number three tip says eat together. So many times we're just used to giving them food, or go and have your food, or except for the smaller ones we have to feed. Sometimes we just give them their food and then they go to eat. So sometimes it's ideal that we serve the food in the same plate with them, eat with them. In that process you discuss, you chat, you have fun, you laugh, you tease each other. In that way, you are bonding with your children while you are having meals together. So sometimes you will see that they will even eat more when you eat with them in the same plate. So that's also a very vital tip that you can use to bond with your children. And number four tip is get involved in their interests. So many times we know that children love cartoons. So sometimes when you have the spare time, you can sit with them to watch cartoons, ask them questions about the cartoon to see they are following, they are understanding, have conversations with them while you are doing that thing that they love to do. So sometimes they are building castles, sometimes they are building one or two things with their building blocks, or they are watching cartoons, or they are playing. You can play with them, do one of those activities. These are things that interest them. So when you involve doing this interest with them, you are also bonding with your children. Our number five is play with them. So sometimes it could just be some little tickles here and there, a hide and seek game or pillow fight or something that that you can both do together at the same time, not for a very long time, so that you can also have time to do other things. But having to play with them sometimes also strengthen the bonds emotionally and otherwise in the ways that you can help bond with your children. Number six tip says listen without distraction. So sometimes when my little boy is coming to me and I'm on my phone or I'm doing something, I just drop everything I'm doing and pay attention to him. Whether it's coming to just play with me or just say something to me or report something to me, I just drop my phone or drop whatever it is that I'm doing and pay attention to him, watch, listen to what he wants to say, respond to him, and then he's gone. So sometimes those things are little things that can bond you and your children. Our number seven tip, which is one of my favorite and also one of my favorite of my little boy, is show physical affection. Oh, my boy loves to hug, he loves to kiss, he gives the warmest hugs. And sometimes when you just do that, they feel some form of love, affection, they are having that connection and all of that. And it's so much bonding with them, it's giving them that connection, that bond that you have with them each time you hug them. Sometimes they even get angry or start to throw tantrums. You can just hug, you can kiss, and then when you just do that, it calms them down and then it brings that bond between you and your children. Our number eight tip is create traditions. Create traditions, something they are used to. Like for me, my children, Love it when I pray with them in the evenings before they go to bed. They are used to it. Sometimes I even forget, and they're the ones that always tell me, "Oh, mommy, you have not prayed with us," So when you do some of these things on a regular basis, and then they get used to it, it could even be cooking together a particular meal, it could be baking, it could be even creating some do it yourself things in the house. Like there was a time I used paper to make wristwatch for my children. In fact, if you see how they were guiding it, it was like they won a trophy. It was something that we did together. They had fun doing it, and I see them doing it sometimes themselves. So it means they learned something. There was some kind of bonding between us while we were doing that. So that was also a good tradition to link up to encourage bonding with your children. Our number 9 tip is encourage open communication. Oh, yes, this is something that many times children find it very difficult to communicate with their parents, especially when you are very harsh, when you judge them at every given time. They tend to withdraw themselves. So when you have to encourage them to speak to you at every given time, regardless of what that conversation is, you pay attention to them, you listen, you encourage them, and then you don't judge them, because it will help strengthen the bond that you share with that child, and it will help that child to always open up to you and tell you whatever it is that might be bothering the child, or the child might be experiencing at a given time. So encourage open communication with your children to help you bond with them. And our very last tip is play and be silly together. So sometimes you can do all sorts of play, tumble, do wrestling, dance with them, tickle them, play in the bathroom when you're having your bath, tease them, have jokes. Sometimes when I'm beating my boy and then there's foam all over his body, I tell him, "Oh, you are Mr. Snowman." And then one day he asked me, where's my carrot nose? And I'm like, "Oh, really?" And then I just put my hand on his nose with some foam, and then he was laughing. It was fun. We're bonding, we're baiting. And then when I watched it, I'm like, "Oh, yes, I've watched off Mr. Snowman." And then he was laughing. No, it was fun. It was an activity, and we were bonding. So somehow, some way, it was very little, but we were bonding in that little circle that we were having at that time. So I believe that most of us have been practicing these tips and we're already using them, and we never can tell how far this bonding can go with these parenting tips. So you could be a busy mom, you could be a free mom, you could be a freelancer, you could be just any kind of mom at the time, but these tips are helpful, very little but very powerful tips that would help you bond with the children. So kindly tell me in the comment section which of these tips are your favorites, which of these tips you're using already that is working, that you really feel that you're actually bonding with your child when you are using these tips. And I'll be glad to see you in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified anytime I drop a new upload. Thank you, and see you in my next video. Bye.